and greetings from Learn Channel. I'm Angela and I will be your host. Today we will talk about the challenges in corporate communication in the remote work world. We will connect with Professor Dr. Aleksandra Shumar, a passionate scholar-practitioner in the field of applied psychology who dedicates her time on training and consulting and scholar writing and research. She is a motivated and talented associate professor at the London Metropolitan University, Euro College and Cornerstone University, driven to inspire students to pursue academic and personal excellence. She is a doctor of applied psychology and special education and the co-founder of Me Now State of Mind Development Center in Dubai. Welcome, Aleksandra. It is a pleasure to have you in our show.
Good afternoon from Dubai and good morning for you over there. Pleasure is mine to be with you in this amazing and lovely show, and let's enjoy the show today together.
Let's start with listing of the biggest challenges in the remote work world, and is it the corporate communication a part of it?
Let's start to talk about first about the remote work, what is showing to be a main tendency at this moment everywhere in the world, well beyond at the end of the pandemic. Usually any organization that proactively reflects how to generate a work environment that benefits from new chances and expectation while justifying challenges will be far ahead. Many industries that try to return to a pre-pandemic form of work are likely to fall behind. When we talk about the challenges, we have to mention about the benefits and the positive sides at the same time. It tolerates staff's better capability to accomplish their work and individual responsibility. From my point of view, from my perspective, living in the metropolitan city in the world, and I've been stuck in the traffic for 3-4 hours, but the period what's happened during the pandemic, staying at home, working from home, what's happened? It's happened the biggest change over here that the remote work has as a key role in reducing the traffic congestion, but at the same time, being stuck in the traffic, increasing the level of depression, tension, stress, but after this reducing traffic congestion, what's happened? We reduce the depression, tension, aggressiveness, and several things in this period. At the same time, this period shows that many people are more productive when working from home, sharing the time with the families and job at the same time and the same place. But as a human and from the mental health perspective, I can say that the communication between humans is already hard enough face to face, but it's much harder when working from home. People normally trust nonverbal communication. This is why communicating effectively is one of the most common challenges, what usually each of us we are facing when we are working from home. Let's go back and talk about the biggest thing what personally I face and the research what they had been done, my colleagues, friends, and the people who are involved in the big corporation over here. Usually a lack of social interaction causes all of us to feel more isolated and lonely, especially those working from home. Loneliness, let's take from the psychological perspective, loneliness is bad for our mental and physical well-being, and at the same time can affect our performance. If we go to the downsides, challenges too. Remote work make it difficult for people to build relationship with the colleagues. Possibly, working from home might reduce the teamwork, especially being different teams. Usually the managers, what they face, and most of them are concerned about development of company culture without a shared physical space. Employees can burn out without clear boundaries and expectations. At the same time, remote work requires access to reliable, high-speed internet in a home or other location, doesn't matter where we are and that time, what is conducive to the individual work. Usually staying at home, working from home, it was distraction from home, from our kids, from our partners, our pets in the same time, but it's not only that. The difference in the time zone, usually we've been lost in when we started with the Teams, Zoom meetings, and kind of social media meetings. What's happened that I lost the meeting because it was in the completely different time zone, and that was the reason why I missed the meeting. For me, it's a funny thing. It was pajama mindset. What usually each of us, usually we are having the nice T-shirt, nice top, but we can find ourselves with a pajama. What it's happened? I think that I'm sure that each of us went through it. At least lipstick, and for the ladies, then be ready for the meeting. I think these are the most challenges what most of the people usually face with the remote work.
Following the previous question, how does remote working affect communication?
Remote work usually leads workers to communicate more frequently with people in their inner network and to build more connections with that inner network again. Then what usually we're facing from my perspective, and what I face with as a consultant, as a therapist over here, that using emails, messages, WhatsApp, Viber, and so on and so on. I don't know how many another social media communication things we do have for daily communication and daily messages. We don't have time to communicate and use proper language. And that's why we are facing with the acronyms, the form of communication. And my question is now, it's rhetorical question, how functional is that? Especially when we talk about language barriers. I think that I was clear with this, to don't go deeper in this kind of using the acronyms, how we are losing the meaning of the basic communication and how we are losing the meaning of the words.
According to the research by the journalist Ashley Brayfield, made in 2021, one of the biggest challenges of remote work is to build a supportive and inclusive company culture. What is your take on that?
I do agree completely with the journalist, but yeah, again, I'm talking from my perspective, that one of the most sustainable challenges of managing successful companies is keeping employees joyful, creative, involved, happy at the workplace. But we don't talk here only about employee level. Now the question is how the employees can make better company together as one. Creating company values there. We are creating at the same time company culture, what can be completely different from company to company, organization to organization, country to country, region to region. And there, how we do say that tango takes two people and communication takes more than two. Usually promoting transparency and honest communication around the workplace. Inclusion for the remote team is as simple as speaking about different topics more frequently, speaking honestly, openly with the team members, telling to the team members that about the company focus area, and usually do not ignore the employees about their ideas and vision about the company, or let them be free to bring on the table their own ideas with and decision making in the same time. Knowing our own values, our own traditions, systems, culture, habits, beliefs, attitudes, we can build in the same time company culture. Like, for example, like women in the leadership position, minorities, hiring people with determination. And based on my experience and based on my knowledge, we have to say that we cannot ignore inclusion companies, or we cannot ignore to hire the people with the different needs and different wants. How Angela mentioned at the beginning, I'm the CEO of Me Now State of Mind Development Center, and our main focus over here is how to develop corporate responsibilities with existing companies over here, and our responsibility is based on three pillars: partnership, development, and awareness. Based on these three pillars, easily we can approach to the companies, and easily we can prepare the companies and employees itself to adjust themselves, adjust their mental health, adjust their attitudes, because psychologically it's so difficult, the attitudes to be changed, but how to adjust them for the new working environment.
Considering the challenges you named, what are the ways to overcome those? Can you suggest a strategy or a method?
It's not difficult question, but it's wide area question, what can be spread in the completely different areas when we're talking about it. Usually professionals in many business strategies have offered multiple suggestions and multiple strategies. Employers should listen to their employees and consider their needs and preferences. Companies should value remote work as much as in office work. Training for the managers who will be leading remote or hybrid teams is essential. Offices should be designed to meet the specific needs of organization in-person activities while allowing remote work flexibility where is possible and whenever is possible. With careful consideration, companies can foster company culture online, not only in the office itself. Usually we're facing that economies and societies are in transition. Some of the countries across the world are still in transition. It is a challenging period for business leaders to make long-term plans, especially in this situation, but it's critical to kindly consider the opportunities and challenges that remote work offers any individual company. The organizations that involve in planning ahead will be the best position to recruit and retain talent and to get the benefit from new technologies and business practices. Personally, I started learning how to present on social media myself, because I'm not the person to stand in front of the camera, take a selfie, or God forbid, just to make a video and post her own on the social media. But I'm facing with the new era, and personally, I do believe in face-to-face communication. But at this moment, I'm a student of learning and understanding and pushing myself, encouraging myself to do the things what I never did before. Zoom, Instagram, Teams, or Facebook pages, everything was completely new for me. I don't belong to the previous century, but it's me, my personality. And what I learned, and my advice to everyone, to don't be scared to try something new, which can be more productive and bring you to a new perspective about the future. At the same time, do not underestimate the importance of being on board with completely new things what you never faced. And my advice, my suggestion is stay aware, stay conscious, mentally health, believe, dream, and trust in whatever you're doing. Doesn't matter what is in your environment.
Mercer, an HR and workplace benefits consulting firm, surveyed 800 employers. 95% of these employers stated that the work productivity was the same or higher since employees started working from home. Consequently, despite the challenges, there are also benefits of remote work. Can you tell us more about this?
Working remotely allows to increase flexibility and autonomy for employees, keeps people connected, and allows them to have meetings and complete their projects from everywhere and anytime. Working remotely allows for better work balance in the same time, because connecting the two biospheres has become the key of feeling happier and more productive while at work. And the most important, it's freedom. Thus, each of us need it. From working from home to traveling abroad and to being in the office 1 day a week or 3, employees enjoy the freedom of remote work. That's the reason from perspective of the professional in this field, I can say that the best involvement and the best investment of the companies is to invest in the mental health and well-being in their employees.
Being an expert in the field of applied psychology and corporate communication, can you share the most common health-related issues that can influence the communication within the corporation?
Yes, Angela, will try to share the most common issues. Depression, usually employees suffering from depression, they can be nervous, short-tempered, and fidgety, withdraw from activities, be passive during the meeting, generally fail to meet the demands. Then the second one, or the most interesting, is the bipolar disorder, usually presents in employees as dramatic mood swings, from extreme excitement to depression, anxiety, and etc. The people showing the bipolar disorder may look busy, but at the same time to be unproductive and easily disruptive. Anxiety disorder, what can be identified among employees who are often tired, struggle to be concentrated, to finish their work, are restless, are excessively worried about their ability to do the job. I will mention attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or known as well as ADHD. What usually we think that it's disorder what we can see to the kids, but easily we can recognize to the adults, that could result in employees that generally failing to accomplish the task at the hand. Usually it's showing like inability, what may result from a failure to manage tasks, refusing to follow instructions. What's going on now over the last year, most of the people who use the Zoom meetings, we are facing the things, how do I look like in front of the camera, who is behind the camera, who is behind the screen, unclear about what they can expect during these interactions, and etc. What did we develop using personally myself? I started wearing glasses during the pandemic time, eye redness, lack of focus, saying nothing during entire meeting, looking exhausted. And these are the main symptoms of employees who have become affected by the constant virtual meetings. And these are the managers who have to look out for these signs in their employees and provide the solution rapidly as possible.
How should managers act towards employees that are facing some kind of psychological situation? Should they adopt individual approach?
Again, we cannot say that we are going to talk only about the individual approach, but yes, now rhetorical question or rhetorical answer, difficult employees, problematic staffers, workers who need behavioral modification and attitude adjustment. Those employees usually require special skills and attention. There is no golden button just to press, no ready to use pattern or psychological exercise. They can suddenly make the difficult employee easy to work with. Facing with the employee whose personal issues consume their attention at work, might be physically in the office, but spending all the time dealing with personal problems. To the other side, it's employee who is overmelted with emotional issues at home, might have trouble prioritizing and staying focused at work. Usually, one of the solution is to get vacation or unpaid leave during the situation, but to don't ignore the employee and leave with his or her own issue. Usually here, I have to mention the employee assistance program includes an employee counseling service that draws on elements of CBT, what is cognitive behavioral therapy, helping employees identify and change negative thoughts, patterns, amongst other things. Then REBT counseling, rational emotive behavioral, Gestalt psychotherapy that can change in the same time leadership intervention in the organization. I cannot avoid, and I have to mention the most progressive and the latest program it's called Tomatis Listening Program, and I have to mention as a licensed professional in MENA Center and in the Middle East, briefly to explain you that how Tomatis can work with the stress, even with the public speaking, with the depression, and shortly that it's the most knowing that the ear is the most powerful sensory integrator of the human body, knowing that 80% of the stimulation of our brain receives come from our ear, and Tomati's listening program exactly helping to how to proceed the information from the ear and send to the brain, and brain reflect on the proper way and energize our body.
Do you think that gender and cultural diversity in the workplace are important factors that impact the quality of corporate communication?
Yes, gender and cultural diversity is important, but the question is why it is important and what are the benefits for the companies. Stepping out from the comfort zone and thinking out of the box are unique and special skills in the same time. Thinking this way, we have to point some questions like, what is the hiring policy? Does anyone has priority? Is anyone being discriminated? Is the balance of power in the company equal? If we talk about the company or organizational culture where the men and women aren't being treated equal, we are facing the stereotypes such as naming and labeling women as less bossy, emotional, less powerful, and men as powerful. The other question is who will be promoted, man or woman, whose idea will be more attractive. Then as advice, we label people all the time. This label may be a rational reflect of who they are right now, but it also carries a belief that the behavior reflects a person essence. If we use terms to describe people and we believe that we cannot change, then in this case, we are stressing ourselves and we're stressing our working environment. Because every time that someone treats us badly, then we take that as an evidence for the bad person, but not just that they are possibly good person who just happens to do a bad thing. From the other side, I have to mention that to think and develop across cultural communication skills in a diverse workplace is absolutely essential. Taking clear, effective communication between co-workers, managers, and executives creates an equal opportunity workplace in which a diverse set of individuals are empowered to excel. That's the reason why challenges of communication in a diverse workplace are common but solvable.
Last but not least, what do you think about the pandemic being a beginning of a new hybrid workplace era? What are your predictions for the future?
Interesting. I wish I can predict my own future. The question is, are we going to remain hybrid during the working hours? And this is not the end. Hybrid work helps employees get the most out of their way while ensuring they feel connected to co-workers and the organization. And hybrid environment, extremely liberated teams need to double down on communicating, over-communicating, being accountable for performance outcomes, and finding team for team building. This is my advice because their biggest risk is working in isolation for too long or at the wrong moments. And now they're coming back to reality, or shall we talk now escape to reality? Shall we talk about to escape to reality or escape from reality? Because highly independent teams also risk cultural erosion and the neglect of remote working co-workers. My advice for the end is creating an extraordinary hybrid work experience will be worth it if we put in hard work to make it worth it.
Thank you, Aleksandra, for the amazing discussion.
Thanks to you for inviting me, and it was an enormous pleasure to share my experience and my perspective for this topic. Thank you so much again.
Thanks to the viewers for staying with us until the very end. Feel free to check the recording of our episode on our YouTube channel and choose other shows to watch. Until next time, stay tuned.